Thank you for joining me for an afternoon session from 2:30 to 3:30 on learning styles of the classroom. And quickly mention in the chat box whether I'm audible or not, and kindly remain muted. Well, let me give the instructions now. Ashmi and good afternoon. Everybody, good afternoon. Wish one another. Now, let me just quickly give 5 instructions. Thank you, Kavi, Konindala, Sridevi, who said audible ma'am, and Sahana also was mentioned audible, and many others, Prabha, Vishwanathan, and so on. Well, I would like to just mention 5 instructions. Some of you might have joined my session over a period of time, quite a number of times, and they might have heard to all the instructions, but keeping in mind what others would be doing. Let me give first instruction is please remember, today it is first, and so we will be going to the online on the 6th or the 7th. Okay, so at that given point of time, your online portal, your login credentials, please enter your login credentials, go to your dashboard and check out the feedback form, fill in the feedback form, and then you can download the certificate. And this is possible after 5 days of the session. So that's the reason I put it as 9th point in the evening. Please be see to it that you check that after 4 to 5 days. The second instruction is if you have joined through any other Gmail ID, absolutely no problem. But while filling the attendance link, kindly enter the Gmail ID which you have been registered. And the third instruction is kindly do not ask for attendance link in between the session. It will be passed only at about 3:30, one complete hour of session, and then I can pass the attendance link into the chat box. Before which, if I see any other messages regarding the attendance link, I will include it. The fourth thing is please see to it you attend 1 full hour session. Okay, and I have enabled Google Meet on my Gmail, so it records your attendance automatically, and it will also tell me how many times you left the session, joined the session, etc. So I will validate this attendance with the attendance which you would have filled towards the end of the session. If both of them tally well, that means you are present for more than 55 minutes and consider and send it across to CBSE. Else, your learning experience is not denied, but your attendance will be a major denial. Okay. Now, the last instruction is I have joined through 2 gadgets. You can pin up the gadget which says presenting once I start presenting, so that you remain with me throughout the session. And also, any conversation that happens will happen in the chat box. Kindly do not unmute till at least the end of the session. Now, one more thing is, in this particular session, I think I have a video and one questionnaire that you need to answer. And once you answer, I'll be taking up that into the session to explain. So please see to it that I expect 100% participation there. Unless until you do it, the session is not worthwhile. So keep these things in mind. With these things set, the last question which I expect as chat box answers, am I audible? And now I'll be presenting my screen. Please mention audible and visible if both are possible. Okay. And as I told you, once I present my screen, see to it you pin it up so that you remain with me throughout the session. Please do let me know whether it's visible as well as I'm audible, so that I can go ahead with whatever I have planned. Yeah, thank you. I got the answer. With my humble pronouns to Deputy Secretary Adima Mazumdar, online training CBSE HNI, I welcome you all dear participants for this session, Learning Styles, which commences now in a short while from 2:30 to 3:30. Welcome all aboard. That is a quick introduction of myself. I'm the resource person for the day. This is Vakshi Priya Amar, Principal, MBJ International School, Bangalore. And thank you all for confirming it's visible as well as audible. Thank you. Now, the learning outcomes for today's session, please remember, you will be taken through the various learning styles. Okay, especially I'll take you through WARC model, that is visual, auditory, and write as well as kinesthetic. This is called as WARK, WARC model. I'll be taking you through that. We will go in detail what are the potential abilities, activities for these levels. I'll be showing a video based on the different learning styles. And finally, have a learning style questionnaire that you need to answer. Lastly, there'll be an attendance link which you'll have to fill it up and then the session. I hope the learning outcomes for today's session is being very clearly mentioned to you, dear participants. Is that fine? All of you? Uh, Also, please remain muted. Now, I'll take you through the first session, the first part of the slide. Your learning style is how you like to learn. This is based on child's learning style. When I say your learning style, right now I'm taking you all to be children in the class and I will take you through the learning style questionnaire towards last but one slide. But yes, there are various learning styles with which the child likes to learn. Now, the teaching styles are also different. They need to be complementing the learning style. Ma'am, if the child is a visual learner, should we also use flashcards? Yes. If the child is an auditory learner, should we use a lot of sounds and auditory stuff, podcasts, or probably show something which has sound, etc.? Yes, that is modifying your teaching styles according to the learning styles of the child. But your learning style is your preference, right? It is the child's preference. He or she has his own interest of learning. He may learn it through role play, he may learn it through dramatization, he may learn it in the lab, he may learn it in the field, he may learn while watching something on observation, he may learn it through field trip, he may learn by lecture method, he may learn by flashcards, by videos, by YouTubes that has been done, by simulations, animations, by do and learn, by think, pair, share, collaborative activities, etc. How do you like to learn? That is how children like to learn, right? That is important. We need to keep that in mind. Knowing about your learning style, you know about your learning style. Now, how do we do it? Please make a note. It is SWOT analysis. Your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, and your threats. What are your major strengths? Are you good at drawing? Then let us see to it that you learn through drawing. How do I learn through drawing? Cartooning strips. You could have the flashcards. You could have a mind map tool. You could have a flowchart, etc. I learn to I would like to go ahead with acronyms, or I would like to get the memory techniques, something, because I feel my memory is too good. Mnemonics, acronyms, flowcharts, algorithms, all of this can come. I think I'm a writing person. I like to learn. If you ask me a spelling, I would like to write and then express. Fantastic. That means you are a person who is kinesthetic in nature. So basically, your learning style certainly help you to be more productive, because you know if you do what, you result with what. So it becomes highly productive if you know it. Increase in achievement. Yes, I know where exactly I need to tweak and how to go ahead. Be more creative through problem solving. Make better decisions. Learn more effective. Right? You're fueling something you know already, and obviously that will gear up with your lot of interest and it pushes you automatically. When I say you, I meant student. But let us take it from the teacher's perspective. Be more productive. If I know what is my teaching style, I think I'm more productive because my teaching style has enabled the learning style of the child. So both are acting along the same direction. So both will accelerate, and ultimate acceleration will be very, very high. The speed with which we learn, the productivity is excellent. Increase achievement. Yeah, that's what I said. Both will move together. It's just like a resultant force, two forces acting along the same direction. So two things are happening, your teaching style as well as learning style, both are happening in the same path. That means you're helping out the child in the way you teach. And the child is also benefited because the way he learns, the teacher is teaching. So obviously it becomes more of an achievement to both of us. be more creative. We need to think how to tap down. No doubt it's his interest, but to how to tap down that interest. Through which activity, right? Improve problem solving. I won't say problems totally get solved, but at least it gets minimized or rather resolved. To make better decisions, that means decision making. Learn more effectively. So actually speaking, when things are very transparent, you know what is expected out of you, and you will be concentrating or focusing on that particular thing. So it becomes very effective. This is a general slide. Now these are various learning styles, right? It could be visual, it could be musical, auditory, physical, kinesthetic, combination of two or three, solitary. It could be entirely different and very it is like I like to do it all by myself. It's like that. That means an intrapersonal way of learning, but then I don't call that intelligence to come back here, otherwise we'll be going into multiple intelligences. But my learning style is solitary. I would like to do it all by myself. That means having a lot of self-efficacy, self-confidence, self-image. I'm more self-aware person. So I think I like to learn it all by myself in my personal space. Social, I'm outgoing. I would like to meet. I would like to collaborate. I would like to cooperate while learning. Equally, I would like to reciprocate with certain critiquing of something which has not happened very good. Something I would like to applaud. Something which has happened very good. I would like to critique on something which has not happened very good. I would like to applaud something which has happened very good. So that means I am mingling with people, I'm getting their understandings, their note takings, their reflections, and also I am reflecting. Logical and mathematical, I use logic every time. Now, what is the example that I can give? You can say just as simple as, suppose in sciences, I'm learning physical properties of matter and I've been taught malleability. But as a child of 12 years, I find it though spell B, etc. is there. There are some children in class who find it very difficult to remember big names. So it's up to you to make it as logical because they learn anything in stepwise or probably put up in an equation. Maybe. I'm just analyzing. Okay. So the minute I say malleability is equal to malle plus ability, is it easy to remember the spelling, dear children? There are many a times you get S from the class where you're teaching. But you should be doubly cautious enough to say the way we remember for language our children is the ability to speak Malay language is equal to the spelling of malleability. The ability to speak Malay language. Okay? Because they should not get the meaning of malleability as well as the way we are splitting up malleability to remember. It's two different compartments. Okay? So that's how I can make it more logical. Verbal, very true. You can teach through pictures. I did see that. Okay. Verbal is your way of communicating. And sometimes your word smart, right? Say for instance, if I'm teaching something as simple as momentum in sciences, I don't want that momentum to be used only when I'm reminded of product of mass and velocity. The momentum with which you speak, yeah, the speed, the way I speak, the faster I'm speaking, the momentum with which the ball moved, or the way the politicians have caught up with that momentum. You know, basically you're using the word smart language here, right? So these are different learning styles. Now let us look at it very deeply. Visual. You prefer to use pictures, diagrams, images, and spatial understanding to help you learn. Musical or auditory, there you love sounds or music. You can do your trigonometric problems with some light music on. That acts as what is called as reinforcement for your desired behavior. Right? Or you can do differential calculative or integration problems very quickly by listening to light music. Okay. And some people, without making some kind of rhythm, that sound, they cannot write or they cannot practice anything. Right? You prefer music, sound, and rhythms. Now, kinesthetic, you use your hands, body, and sense of touch to help you learn. You might act things out. Yes, I might be very animative. Oh God, this teacher is quite animative in class. I'll have to do those actions to explain. As simple as swinging my arms. It has to be explained by swinging the arms. Okay? Verbal. Words, your strong point. You prefer to use words both in speech and writing. Commendable usage of words. Right? Learning is easier for you because of logic reasoning systems and sequences. This is for logical mathematics. Social, as I said, it is nothing but a part of interpersonal. You like to learn new things as a part of a group. Explaining your understanding to group helps you learn better. That means the minute I learn something, I look forward for people and try to explain to them so that I feel I learn better. So that means to say always collaborative activities will engage this person. Solitary, you like to work alone. You use self-study and prefer your own, whatever, company, class, when learning. Okay. Combination, they could be umpteen number of types. I could be 2 or 3 combination. I love to listen to music. I am a visual person. Equally, I am a logical and mathematical person. Absolutely, this is true. Now a question to you, dear participants, because I just wanted to know this combination part of it, whether somebody who has a combination beyond 1 or 2 learning styles are available in my session. Go ahead and say, yes, you're a combination of dash and dash, because this will help you to answer your questionnaire towards the end. Okay. Well, how do we go ahead with visual plus solitary? I'm both. Then I'm kinesthetic and I'm social, both like that, and it is a 2-minute exercise. I want if you have a combination. If you don't have a combination, you please mention no. Go ahead 2 minutes from now and you can type it out in your chat box. The last 30 seconds. Last 2 seconds. Yes, we freeze now. Let me just take answers here. Yeah, most of you have said logical, visual, verbal, and visual. Then visual plus logical plus combination. Okay, visual plus logical. Then verbal, social, etc. Couple of them have written. Please hold back to these answers, or probably hold it and aside, and let's see when you answer the questionnaire, will it come handy or not. That means to say, why did I give this exercise and ask you to write down? The combination part of it you should never forget. We might be a combination of 2 or more learning styles, but equally please remember we cannot excel in everything. So automatically your dominant learning style is entirely different. That gives you your personality. You're dominant. I might be good in singing, but I'm not a singer. Why? Because that is not my dominant learning style. Okay. So that means to say that is not I have a passion towards it, but I might have been interested with it, but I'm not talented enough to go ahead with it. Okay. Now, having said this, let us look at it deeply. Visual learning techniques. So what are the various visual learning techniques that I can utilize in a classroom? Mental photograph or video. Yeah, there could be a lot of mental exercises that we need to do, not only in mental mathematics, but we can do quite a lot of them. Or it could be a video that I capture and use it for visual learning people. Flashcards, yes. And sometimes I can say, you can see this in the video which I'll showcase also. You can ask them to highlight, but give them the tips as to what to highlight. Okay, whether the former word, whether the latter word, or whether the current word. They should know very clearly, otherwise highlighting becomes a misconception. Okay, so they can highlight. For instance, dear participants, I'll take an example. Now, say for instance, if I'm a science teacher, basically, from a science background. Now, let us say I'm teaching them with light, and light to do with spherical mirrors, and light to do with lenses, and so on. Convex lens, concave lens, or concave mirror, and convex mirror. Let's say I'm doing this in a classroom. Now, initially, I tell them the inward arrow mark and the outward arrow mark. Maybe I'll talk to them about the incident ray and the reflected or refracted ray. And tell them, dear children, before you draw these pictures, choose any two colors and make an index. One color stands for your incident ray, the other color stands here for, depending upon the medium, it could be either a refracted ray or a reflected ray. So kindly make this as an index and use these two colors in the next 6 set of diagrams which we'll be drawing. And every time we draw, please see to it that you use the same colors to specify incident ray as well as refracted ray. I hope you're all there. So that means to say how to use colors. Same thing, mathematics, it might be different. So you can tell them initially, because it has a very good impact on the right brain. So you can tell them how to write the data, or maybe formulas. All formulas for today's class will go in red. Or all for data from the word problems which you are eliciting from the given statement problems into your classworks will go in yellow color. Something like that. I generally avoid green and red because I say green is for the head of the institution and red is for the teacher. Otherwise, if you use them, dear children, it will become problematic. So this is how I give them a chance to draw pictures, to highlight, and to remember. Now use pictures or symbols in a margin to remember. Draw a map or outline. Yeah, generally, right? States also can be identified and put in different colors. That's why we say coloring, because it has an impact on your mind, brain basically. Now next, these learners, verbal learners, are known as linguistic learners. They learn best through written and spoken word. Let me tell you, they're also called as word smart. Okay. Users of this style enjoy language, reading, and writing. They basically love, irrespectively what they're learning, that particular language. They truly engage themselves actively and learn it because it's their passion. Chances, one of the keywords of to becoming a great programmer is reading documentation. Most courses and resources greatly emphasize them. Use this to your benefit. Rereading documentation, rewriting your notes, using mnemonic devices, acronyms, diagrams, and other strategies will improve your memory. Now, please remember, these acronyms, diagrams, and all that, we kept it for visual. Now, how come we are placing it under linguistic? That's why I said there can be a combination. There can be a combination of both. Generally, it is. We identify our dominant interest and pursue that. Okay. So now, verbal study strategies. What are the verbal study strategies? Take the time to sit down and write and rewrite your words and notes. Sometimes it so happens in class during the note taking, especially with higher classes, they would have written just the phrases or probably words in their rough book. And often you might find one or two people who are telling, ma'am, I cannot submit my book today. Why? Haven't you got the book? I have got the book, ma'am. But I would like to write neatly and then submit it, because whatever you spoke, I wrote it in my own shorthand form in my rough book. I would like to translate everything, put it neatly into a paragraph and the way it has to be given, and then submit it. Have you often come across such examples or such people taking these excuses? I think most of us